Okay, hi folks. So now we're starting Chapter 6 in earnest. So here we are, Week 5, looking at Chapter 6. This is a fun chapter because the project is a little bit goofy, um, but also begins to get us to think about other library classes and how they can be used to snap together some really um, fairly sophisticated behavior with just a little bit of know-how of what the objects that come back from these classes provide for us. So our main concepts for this chapter: using library classes, more than just array list this time. And in order to be able to use library classes, how to read the documentation so that we know what it is that these objects are capable of. So here we go. The library of Java classes is extensive. There are thousands of classes with tens of thousands of methods across the entire Java API, and that's before you even go into buying third-party stuff. This is just the stuff that comes with the language. These are classes that would be challenging to write for yourself, not impossible, but they've been implemented in other projects, they've been tested, they've been debugged. When you're writing something for yourself for the first time, especially if it's trying to do something somewhat sophisticated, there might be parts that you don't know how to write, there might be parts that you know how to write, there might be parts that you think you know how to write, and these can all introduce bugs even under the best of circumstances. So what we need to be able to do is find packages and objects inside of those packages, or classes inside of those packages, that will make our life easier. Now, there's a sort of a high-level way of breaking things down first into packages, which are related library classes, and then, looking at each individual class and then their documentation being structured in a similar way. So when we work with these libraries or packages, there's some that you should just know, but more often than not, there are going to be some that you're going to have to suspect exist and be able to search for in the documentation, and then be able to read the documentation and discern what they can do for you. Now, it's very important that we split these pieces out. You don't need to know how these classes work. You just need to know what these classes do, what you need to call, what you need to give them, and what you will get back from them. If you're worried about the how things work, that's the implementation. But if you're just worrying about what you need to pass to them, that's the interface. So one of the strong parts of object-oriented languages is that there is a clearly defined interface that programmers create to their packages or to their classes individually, and that defines how you construct them, how you initialize them, and what you can expect those objects to do for you. So with that in mind, let's dive in to the projects for Chapter 6, which are, for the bulk of this, a artificial intelligence technical support system. It's not true AI, but let's call it a decision support system rather than artificial intelligence. So come into the next video and let's get going.